I could right now be in the meeting room of a penitentiary, or I might as well be because I'm in Ontario, the only fugitives in North America. Let's do an update, shall we? For those of us mainly in the, say, Ontario regions, because we can't really have fun yet. So again, all of you out there that get to enjoy Velocicoaster and are in more freer states and provinces, enjoy it while you get to tease us from afar. But as far as Coaster Daft / First Drop news is concerned, we don't plan on being locked up for much longer. In fact, we might become a fugitive in the next couple of weeks. And that's all I'm going to say about that, because it's slightly incriminating having this on YouTube, isn't it? Welcome to an update on the news. There's a couple of things that I haven't seen talked about, and a couple of more things pertinent to the channel that have been announced or have creeped up in the last couple of days. First thing is Ronde has now officially launched their new website for the coming season. And also the app has finally been associated, or the Six Flags app has now been finally associated with Ronde itself. What does that really mean? Well, if you have a season's pass or a silver pass for Six Flags, you can now make reservations on their system for Ronde. Needless to say, I have already done that. There doesn't seem to be any restrictions as far as consecutive days are concerned, as I booked 2 consecutive days without any issue. The various time frames are split up into 15-minute intervals leading up to 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. on the respective day that you are planning on visiting. Now, for the first couple of weekends or for the first month of operation, it does look, now Ronde has gotten official word and notice that they can open on the 22nd, so definitely looking forward to that. It's a holiday weekend, so they will be open for the Saturday through Monday of that particular weekend. Then following that, they are on a weekend-only basis. After that, on the 21st of June, they will be going to a full-time operation, or at least a daily operation, with the hours that you would expect for regular summertime operation, leading up to 9 p.m. closures. But there is no dates listed after the first week of July. They definitely are thinking about different operating hours in the later part of the summer if that becomes available. That all said, Quebec have had more success than Ontario in relation to battling COVID, so that means that yes, Ronde does get to open again for 2021, whereas Canada's Wonderland did not. This time last year, we were stuck in the position of Canada's Wonderland having their opening date being constantly being mooted over but not confirmed. In fact, by this time last year, it just came down that they weren't going to be able to open for May. That has obviously taken place again now this year, as Wonderland had announced that they were going to be opening in mid-May, but only just this past weekend have removed any mention of that from their website. It does look as though Canada's Wonderland will have another challenging year ahead of them due to the strict, restringent, and really somewhat unfair, some would say, restrictions in place in Ontario. But it does look like they will be able to open at least in some fashion this year. Do not wish to speculate on exactly when that is, but you should look at July as all likelihood of that happening. That all being said, Wonderland still are applying or accepting applications for jobs, seasonal jobs over the summer, and we will still keep an eye out, of course, for any developments in this area carrying forward. It is the 40th anniversary of the park. Unfortunately, they will not be able to celebrate on the date of, but look here at First Drop / Coaster Daft, because we will definitely have our own celebration coming up, as we were there 40 years ago and plan on being there this year, of course, too. Also need to mention in regards to Ronde that the website does not have any mention of V-Pair. They're new for 2020, new for 2021, maybe new for 2022 attraction. A lot needs to be said about the fact that this coaster doesn't seem to be getting up and operating, or that the park either cannot afford to assemble it, or that they may have decided that it's not a route that they wish to proceed with. This coaster has had a very problematic history, and whether or not Ronde considers it a worthwhile option to consider going forward might be the case, or it may be a financial consideration. If it is a financial consideration, it is a bit scary to think about in relation to what the future holds for this park as far as new attractions are concerned. I should say that within a couple of weeks' time, we should have an on-site update on the progress of VPAIR, so look forward to that soon. Niagara Falls has asked the Canadian government for clarification on what will actually happen when the borders reopen. Now past a year of the Canada-US border being closed, most of us Canadian enthusiasts have given up all hope of ever traveling again to an American park. But in reality, the Niagara Falls Mayor Jim Diodati has asked for this clarification, understanding that there's going to be a streamlined approach of opening up the border again, and what they can realistically expect in Niagara Falls, considering that 14 million people come to the area every year for tourism, 25% of which is from the United States. We'll be looking for this. It looks like some idea of what's going to happen with the border should come to light in the next couple of weeks to the end of the month. Let's hope so, because it will give us a little bit more options as far as what First Drop can cover, and also to get more people back to the struggling businesses of Niagara Falls, the largest leisure destination in Canada. There's been some slight news in regards to Fantasy Island, Grand Island, New York, where some new investors have apparently been secured and have been announced by Marshall Dan, the well-regarded spokesman and actor in the Wild West shows at the park. What this actually means hasn't been clarified, and no actual moves and ownership movement has taken place. But this is the most positive news that the park has probably had in the time since its closure. While the statement has remained ambiguous by Marshall Dan, it does actually have a tinge of positivity that has not been there before. We all know the history of the previous group trying to take over the park. I believe that this group that he's addressing is actually the same group that submitted a proposal in 2020 that did not come to pass. Fantasy Island needs a little bit more of a vision that I've discussed in a video already. The ownership group that the group that wished to bring the park back to its former glory also want to retain its former presence and its former focus on Wild West shows and things that were turn-of-the-century entertainments in the last turn of the century. So whether or not they have a realistic option of going forward with, say, a amusement park based on a 1950s style model is questionable, to say the least. It might be the reason why there's been some difficulty in getting investment. This has all been discussed in my own video, but here's hoping that there is some movement, because it does seem that Silver Comet is not going anywhere, and I believe that that is a stakeholder, or basically a key piece in the puzzle of the future of this park. If Silver Comet were not there, I believe that most of the value of the property would probably be non-existent, at least in amusement park form, because most of the fixtures and fittings will have dilapidated or require a major structural rebuild. So stay tuned. There's hopefully some good news in regards to Fantasy Island. Every time one of these news updates gets launched, something else new comes down the pipeline. So hopefully we'll have something new in the very future. Further on the situation in Toronto, I do need to say what is going on with John Tory. The poor man reflects everything that we feel here in Ontario right now. We're not able to get a haircut, so instead you just shave it off, or you end up looking like the Crypt Keeper, like he's kind of looking right now with his stone-cut mullet look that really is getting to be a little bit disheveled and sad. He's really just wearing the whole condition of this city on his face right now, and I kind of feel bad. Like, you look at our premier, the man is crying. Yes, he's gotten no shortage of abuse over the last, like, his entire term, and I don't really have anything to say as far as, the successful nature of his tenure in office. But the man is crying at every press conference now. We're kind of becoming the joke of North America in relation to the COVID response, whereas the premier in Quebec is having a joke about the Canadiens' overtime winners and the playoff prospects. We are crying on TV. Living here, I can't say it's much different than how most of the people actually feel, or at least seem to feel around me, but it is definitely a little bit more lethargic now in Ontario than it has been this time last year. We need to get another kind of like injection of classic controversy like we had with the good old Rob Ford days, where yeah, sure, the world's attention was on us for not a good reason, but at least, it was exciting. It was a little less gray and bland and stony-faced like John Tory's poor face right now. And all you surf fans that go to Hawaii and Australia looking for the great waves, well, I'm going to tell you right now, there's no place better to go than Ontario, because with the amount of waves that we have forthcoming, 4th wave, 5th wave, 6th wave, I'd say we have the most waves going anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world. All the waves are in Ontario, so if you got a boogie board, you might as well get down here and have some fun with us. Okay, enough of the gripings from my local pandemic situation. One final worldly sum up. Exciting news from France. Hopefully one day I'll be able to get back to you, but Krampus Expedition is now testing, which is a Mack Rides custom water coaster opening up in the unfortunately named Nigloland. But this coaster is one of the best themed attractions opening up this year and has a lot of eyes on it, but I didn't see anything announced in regards to the end of the construction. So here you go, a first test run of the attraction. I will say that it does carry a lot of speed coming into that first drop. The curving, twisting airtime hill after the first actual swirling drop looks pretty intense for a water coaster. And of course, the land forming and fixtures of actual Krampus himself look very impressive. Definitely one of the attractions that I look forward to getting onto in the near future. Krampus Expedition, at Nigloland. While we don't have any actual images from inside, the station also looks heavily themed and really has that darker tinge that they kind of get away with more in other countries or other parts of the world other than North America, i.e. the meat hooks hanging from the ceiling. Very nice touch. All right, guys, that's enough for the news update today. I expected this one to be a short one, but it's been a while since I've gotten to rant about the pandemic. So I hope you enjoyed that, and when we have some new updates to provide for you, we will be with you, of course, with them. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the ride.